Listen, welcome to the show. Today is going to be amazing. I'm your host, June Archer, the Winner Circle. This is 50.com. My host, Dr. V. For those who don't know, you're going to find out. Dr. V, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Your energy is on 1,000 right now.
Yeah?
This is amazing. I'm just happy to meet you.
I'm happy to meet you. I'm happy to be here.
No, we're going to have some fun.
We're going to have a great time.
So, for those who don't know you, who may be living under a rock, Marriage Bootcamp, and author of the newly Bad Advice. This book, I started reading something online about it. It is in line with everything that I believe in, so I'm super excited about it. But I want to take us back. For those that don't understand what a doctor of clinical psychology is, can you explain it for those who are listening and watching?
Sure. It's a PhD in bullshit. Actually, I have a master's in counseling psychology, a master's in clinical psychology, and a PhD in clinical psychology. And what that is a doctor of psychology. And why I joke and say that it's really a PhD in bullshit is because we really haven't been able to, the last 30 years, we haven't been able to replicate human behavior. So a lot of the studies that we do, we're unable to replicate those studies, which is fascinating. And it just goes to show you the incredible complexity of humans, right?
We are complex individuals.
So complex.
We're some crazy animals.
Really?
I think we are crazy animals.
See, that is one way of looking at it.
Give me another way to look at it.
So, pre-agriculture, going all the way back,
right.
We were incredibly cooperative, and that some of the research done on humans is actually done on the chimpanzee, which is really a mean-spirited animal. They're mean, they're aggressive, but the only reason why they're mean-spirited and aggressive was because we got in there and started feeding them to collect all of this data and collect all of this science. Meanwhile, we got this idea of like, oh my God, like they're our closest genetic link. We must be assholes too. But that's just not true. So anyway, this is a long way to bad advice, where I kind of get into this idea that what we believe and the things that we say and the theories that we have just aren't true.
Now, some of these are things that we've been taught and we've been groomed to believe over the years, be it from family. I think it's pretty much just family. You know, your mother or your father telling you certain things. If you do this, X, Y, Z is going to happen.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said is about, was not bad intentions. It was something about bad experiences. And I'm like, well, this is kind of true because I've heard the same thing where people say, oh, well, you're only setting yourself up for failure if you think it's so positive. Like, one day the bottom is going to drop out.
Oh, yeah. So expectations lead to disappointment. So we all know that, right? The negative Nancy in our life.
Right.
You know, when you're just a little too positive and happy about the world, someone says, expectations lead to disappointment. They will tell you that. And that's just not completely true. It might lead to disappointment, but think about how all of your expectations are met. You only realize your expectation isn't being met when it isn't being met.
Right. Until then.
Exactly. Until then, your mail comes. Like, you don't expect to get a cockroach in your salad. You know what I mean? You if you have surgery, you expect to be sewn up.
Right. Well, when you sat on the chair, you expected it to hold you up.
Exactly. So you only notice that your expectations aren't being met when they're not met.
Right.
But most of the time, 95% of the time, your expectations are met. And the problem with this kind of idea of like your expectations lead to disappointment is that it stops us from hoping. It stops us from dreaming. It stops us from opening and widening our world, because it's not that we can see the world as it is. It's that we can see the world as it isn't that makes us create amazing things.
Do you believe it is the people that are around us, or is it really just bad advice that we've taken over the years that is compounded and compounded to allow us to stop dreaming and stopping us from jumping off the cliff, because we feel like if I jump, there's nothing down there to catch me?
I mean, that is a great question. And the idea is that we live our lives by theories. Theories matter.
Right.
Like this concept that we first were talking about, that the chimpanzee is a angry animal, when in fact it isn't. It's only angry because we were feeding them.
Right.
So we live with this idea that we're animals, right? That you and me, we're animals.
Right.
You know, we're perhaps mean creatures, and when in fact we're not. We're incredibly peaceful and loving and incredibly cooperative. So theories matter. What we tell each other matters. So these perceived wisdoms, expectations lead to disappointment, or live each day like it was your last. If I were living each day like it were my last,
you go broke every day.
First of all, I'd be eating, crying, maybe sleeping, maybe we're not allowed to curse. You know, maybe having sex. If it were my last day,
you would do all those things.
I would do all those things every day.
Only to wake up and find out it wasn't, to do it all over again. That's a good life. That's a good life.
Exactly. So this idea of like, you just can't do it. You know, it's scientifically and biologically impossible to do. And I talk about that in the book, about how so many of these theories and these ideas that we live by, and by the way, they're only being more perpetuated over social media, on your Instagram feed, on your Facebook feed, on your Twitter. People are perpetuating this bullshit that blows my mind. For example, can we talk more?
Oh, let's go.
Are you ready to
we're gonna dive in
shut
deep.
me up?
No, listen. We're here talking about bad advice, but we're gonna give you some good advice. So let's jump in.
So you can't love anyone until you love yourself. People say that all the time.
I don't believe that.
Thank you. Up here, up top, man. Because let me tell you something. You are able to love people. We are built to love people.
Yes.
And yourself doesn't give a shit about how you feel about you. Because you're gonna love. And it's not gonna matter. You may not love well, but you're gonna love.
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether you love yourself. You're going to be compelled to love other people. Now, the second part of that, you can't love anyone until you love yourself. Well, guess what? It is biologically and scientifically impossible to love yourself in the way that you love someone else. Love is co-created. We co-create love. It's between two people. So you can't love yourself. And we live in a society that pushes love yourself, love yourself, love yourself.
Do it for yourself.
But guess what? Nobody tells you how. You know why?
Because
it's impossible. It's impossible. And we live in a society that pushes love yourself, but conditions you to self-hate. Fuck these fucking people, man. Bad advice.
Bad advice. Bad advice.
You got me excited.
This
Me excited.
This is dope. But now I want to turn the page a little bit. Still talking with this marriage boot camp.
Yeah.
How important is it? Because traditionally men do not like counseling. So with that in mind, how important is it for people? My wife and I went through that a couple years ago, just as a tune-up. Some people said, get a tune-up. 5-year mark, get a tune-up. Figure out how to communicate again. How important is it for couples to go into marriage counseling or some kind of counseling to help them tune that relationship up?
If you feel that it needs a tune-up, it's important. How did it go for you?
It went well. We learned some things that we didn't know.
Right.
So that went well. But what if you feel like there's nothing wrong? Can you still go?
Okay, so here's the thing. Therapy isn't for everyone. Counseling isn't for everyone. As a matter of fact, sometimes people will come out of therapy or counseling worse. Let's say it re-traumatizes you.
By
it's
rehashing and bringing...
It's not for everyone. So now, good mental health and love and community and caring about each other, that's for everyone, right? Everyone. But you don't have to go behind closed doors and talk to a counselor. While it's helpful, sometimes it might be harmful depending on the couple.
Right.
So that has to be really hashed out between you and your partner.
Okay.
I
have a question for you.
Yeah.
People say, because this is probably some more bad advice that people give you, especially when you get married or in your relationship. Yeah. Communication is key. I feel like learning how each other communicates is key.
So key.
So I feel like communication, bro, you can communicate all you want.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I don't hear you, or you're not speaking my language, or
right.
if I'm not understanding your language, then we're really not communicating. I'm not understanding or overstanding you.
Exactly. That's very true.
So what do you say to people who say, "Oh, communication is key, Dr. V," and he won't communicate with me?
Yeah, but how does that person communicate? Like exactly what you said. You have to understand the language of your partner. Words have meaning that we all share, but they have very specific meanings to each and every one of us.
Right.
You know, love doesn't mean the same thing to you, to me. You know, passion may not mean the same thing. Money doesn't mean the same thing. Right. Like we all have we attach our own feelings to every word in the
very
language.
Important.
So it's important to really understand how your partner hears you, you know, and experience you.
That's super important.
Because I don't think a lot of people don't go down the self-help section looking to hear negative things about themselves. They don't.
Say that again, Dr. V.
People don't walk down the self-help aisle looking to hear negative things about themselves. They just don't. Right. And so a lot of people gravitate towards the advice that makes them feel good about themselves. When in fact, it's what you don't want to hear that's going to help you. Right?
But it's hard though.
It's hard. Some people don't like taking. So hard.
Some people don't like taking.
We don't want to take in that negative feedback.
Right.
But we don't realize that it's the most valuable feedback you could have.
Now, does it matter who it's coming from?
Absolutely.
Sometimes I say, well, I'm not going to take good advice from somebody bad. Like,
absolutely. But so for example, people love to tear people down on the gram or the Twitter. They love that. That's shouts in the dark. Those fucking people don't matter.
Static noise.
Yeah, static noise. But when someone you love and someone you respect and someone you care about is able to say, I experience you in this way. You know, I experience you. It's important to take that in, you know? There's another piece of advice in there that I cannot stand, which kind of goes into this. Nobody can make you feel bad without your permission. What a bunch of fucking bullshit.
That's a bunch of crap.
People absolutely can make you feel bad without your permission. I mean, it's unbelievable. We're meant to make each other feel things. Right. We're human. As you and I sit here right now, we're exchanging serotonin, dopamine, our neurotransmitters are going up just by sitting here.
Right.
We are all feeling things together. So this idea that nobody can make you feel something without your permission, when was the last time you gave someone permission to hurt your feelings? When? Never.
I can't remember.
It never happened.
I'm a true Sagittarian. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
It also implies that we have to give permission for people to help us, you know, feel happy, which isn't true either.
I'm not buying into that either.
Yeah, no.
So bad advice dispels a lot of these myths.
A lot of bullshit. I'm sorry. I keep saying you don't curse.
But
you came in and said I don't curse.
No, but that has nothing to do with
I know, but I want to respect your language.
No. Oh, we're communicating.
Yeah, we're communicating.
Dr. V, now we're communicating.
Now we're communicating.
What was the most memorable, or should I say, name a couple, or maybe two couples, that gave you the most memorable experience from Marriage Bootcamp?
Last season, Mama D and Ernest. Do you know that couple?
Yes.
The most memorable experience was the incredible love that they shared. However dysfunctional we may have seen that, I was incredibly touched by that. The love and the care that they had shown to one another, mixed with a whole bunch of other things.
Right.
And I thought to myself, imagine if we could magnify that love, put a spotlight on that love, and turn down the volume on some of the negative. Like, that was touching to me. And the fact that we never stop learning, You know, they were one of the more mature couples on the show. And they had learned something, and that was inspiring. So that was one. That was super inspiring.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How much joy do you get out of helping not just those couples, normal couples, and just in your everyday life, just speaking life into people? How does that feel for you? And are you still growing and learning things as well?
Oh my God, I learn something new every day. I mean, some of the, and by the way, I think some of the smartest people are willing to take in a lot of information. You know what I mean? Like, you want to know, you know what you don't know, is my point.
Right.
And I'm very much aware of that. Like, I know what I don't know. So it opens me up to take in tons of information. And I love that. And I love when people stop me on the street and say, Dr. V, I just want to let you know, your show, me and my husband watch it. We love it.
That's got to be an amazing feeling.
When in reality television are you able to feel a little pride? You know, feel
That's
like,
awesome.
wow, okay, this is helpful. This is helping people. So to answer your question, it makes me feel fucking great. I'm sorry, I'm cursing again.
Stop. Dr. V, stop. Stop. Dr. V, stop.
You're making me look like a nerd.
No, you're good. Making me look bad out here. I'm going to have to
Never.
start shooting some expletives at you. So, where do you find your inspiration to counsel people, and what was the motivation and inspiration behind this? Because this takes a lot of balls, guts, to lay this out on the line, hoping that people actually pick it up, that when they open up these pages, they'll start to peel back some of the layers that they've been allowing to bind them and hold them back and set them back behind hurdles and obstacles. What was the inspiration behind?
I think the inspiration behind it was all those books that I've read, where I closed the book and I said, I never thought of it that way. And it changed my worldview just a little bit. And you are forever touched, you're forever changed when your worldview shifts this much. And I think the inspiration behind this book was that. Like, I want to feel, and I think we all want to feel, that we somehow matter. And I talk about that in the book, about how we all matter. And we don't give ourselves enough power in how much we matter. So I think with that, it's like, I want to matter, and I want other people to have that same feeling through the exchange of information, knowledge, love, support. So I think that was my inspiration.
For the person who's sitting home who cannot get around, over, or under an obstacle, what best piece of advice can you give them today?
The best piece of advice that I can give you in terms of your obstacle is, most of the time, your back is to the exit. The answer is, if you just turn around, it's right there. You got the answer. You just have your back to the exit. So,
Dr. V, Marriage Bootcamp, Bad Advice. Where can we follow you? Where can we see you? What's going on with you?
I always feel like when people ask me for my social assets, it's a brain teaser. So I worked on this. I studied this.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
So it's Dr. On Instagram.
Okay.
Dr. DOCTOR _V_. Right. So that's the Instagram.
Okay.
The Twitter is Dr. DRV, right? So I have my cheat sheet. DRV _V_ tweet. It's a brain teaser.
Okay.
And is that all?
That's it? How about your website?
Dr. V at talktodrv.com.
So if you want to talk to Dr. V, you got to listen.
Thank you for your patience.
I'm loving her. She curses, I don't. We make a great team.
We communicate.
Listen, Bad Advice is in stores now. Please check it out. Stop getting the advice that you normally get from people who are already hating on you, all the trolls, and stop listening to the static noise. You heard Dr. V, June Archer, The Winner Circle. This is 50.com. Dr. V.